welcome back to Conspiracy Theory Thursday, everybody. Do we want to break it down for Ollie?
No, I want to give Ollie a little sample of what's going on in my head for our theme song for Conspiracy Theory Thursday. So it starts out and it goes bump 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 bump, and then like in the background it'll come in and be like woo.
I like it. You should make background music for it too.
Or we could put like jazz so that when we're talking about child trafficking in our country, there can be like a smooth jazz beat in the background.
You like jazz? So today we're going to go into some of the specifics about things that the government may be hiding from us. And Alex is very focused on and interested in the Epstein stuff. So Alex, tell us about Epstein.
Take it away, Penny!
Yeah.
If you're invested in TikTok, I'm sure that you've seen plenty of the little TikToks that float around that mention the Clinton emails being released, Podesta emails, stuff with the Epstein case, and I don't know, it just doesn't set right with me. So that is one of the things we'll be discussing. That's one of the things we'll be discussing today. Where should I start, Ryan?
I don't know anything about it, to be honest. I'm very like in my own kind of little bubble. I don't really concern myself with much of the outside world. I like soccer and I like a lot of sports, and that's about all I know.
If you don't know what the Podesta emails are, it was a group of emails that were leaked from the Clintons, specifically Hillary Clinton. I'm pretty sure there were some other like documents and straight emails involved in that, but they were leaked. And when they were leaked, there was some questionable things in there. We see some of the things I was talking about that you might have seen on TikTok. Within that was found like a list of like code words that they tied back to child trafficking. That
Like seagull?
No, like pizza meant like little.
Chuck E. Cheese?
No, pizza meant like little boy
Oh.
and stuff. Once people started figuring that out, because those became declassified documents, they started like cross-referencing and looking for pizza being brought up within all these emails, and they're between politicians, you know, and there's like so many emails that are like, oh, I could really kill for some pizza right now, and that's just out of the blue. And it's like there's no context, so it makes you like really question that. But
Maybe the dude just wanted some pizza. Jeez.
Shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
The one thing that I don't know that you know, that I wanted to bring up to you
I didn't know
is
that you didn't know that I didn't know that.
why do you do this to me? You're just throwing me off even more. So with the Epstein files, I don't know how much you know about Epstein and the island, but that was something else that was released. So Jeffrey Epstein had an island. He was big in the news a while ago, and supposedly he killed himself. And we all joked about like people saying, oh, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. And I partook in that. I had absolutely no knowledge of it, but then like you start to get more involved in it and you're like, oh wait, this isn't just some like internet like meme. Like he actually didn't kill himself, which they'll still say that he did, but it's the same situation, dude, as I might have told you this. I think it's Ghislaine is how they say her name. Ghislaine Maxwell was his like girlfriend, and he was involved in all of this, or she was involved in all this. She finally got arrested and caught, and her case got moved to New York. The judge that was appointed over her case, a person impersonating a UPS driver, shot and killed her 20-year-old son and wounded her husband.
So first off, why, for the people who have no clue anything about it, like myself, why do people think that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, and why
or
are they
didn't
saying
kill himself?
Or what? Both angles. Why make both arguments?
No, it's not that he did kill himself. People think that he killed himself or that he was murdered, and he was definitely murdered. But
why?
Because with him being imprisoned, all the stuff that happened on the island, so he owned his own private island, and apparently like a majority of child sex trafficking within like the elites, so like the people in Hollywood, politicians, went through that island. And there's photo evidence now of the Clintons being at Epstein's Island, which is in the Virgin. It's within the Virgin Islands. It's St. James, and it's within the Virgin Islands, which I've been to before. There's a bunch of smaller islands, but so there's like evidence of them being there. It makes sense, dude, because if he is now caught and he's under fire for all of this, and he's imprisoned, then at some point, doesn't matter if he's in there for 30 years and then he decides, hey, you know, fuck it, I've been in here for 30 years, I'm gonna sell people out. Or if it's off the bat, he tries to make a plea deal and sell people out. Someone definitely had him killed because of all of those people, those important and very powerful and rich people that were involved in this. And that's what I was saying. There's been a released list of people involved in it. It's hard to not be one of those people that's like, oh no, that would never happen. Like that person couldn't be involved in child sex trafficking. Because I looked at the list and dude, so many people that even me and you look up to or like grew up like watching on TV and stuff are involved in this. Like Tom Hanks, for example. I've always fucking loved Tom Hanks, and that was like a huge blow to the kneecaps for me. I was like, damn, like, and you don't want to like accept it, but I mean, there's a lot of evidence, and the reason that people don't see it, the hard evidence, is because they don't want it out. That's the same thing with, I've been seeing people, I saw months ago people talking about the Ellen DeGeneres show getting canceled, but it was within my little like dark web like community searching shit that I was seeing all of that, and it was because of her involvement with all of the child sex trafficking and everything going on in Hollywood. But now, just now, people are talking about it on like Facebook and stuff, and they're saying it's because she like mistreats the staff for the show, and she's like really rude behind the camera.
There's no way.
But
I'm sure there's the other people got to do that too. Like even if it was, and she seems like a nice person. I don't think, you know. But okay, so you insist that like this list that's coming out is like hardcore evidence that these people are involved in this sex trafficking and child stuff. What do they have to gain from this?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you talk about Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is already really rich from doing the movies.
Oh, no, buddy. They're not like involved in it for making money. They're exploiting children.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Though. Like, why would every single one of these people be into that kind of stuff? Like, you can't fully believe that every single person on that list would just be down to do that. Just because why? Because their social status?
No, because the picture proof, buddy. There's multiple pictures, and also I wish these weren't so short. I could give you more sources and stuff to put up on the screen, but
we can go as long as we want.
Okay, well,
people are interested in it, well, they can watch.
So the emails back it, the pictures back it, and if you just know more of the details, it's not something that's just like I've looked at the list and I've formulated like my own conclusion like just off the bat, like, oh wow, that sucks, I'm accepting the fact that these people are involved in this. It's a 2-month span of information that I've gathered from pretty reputable sources, and like people are like, oh, anything that's not a news source, like an official news source, is not a reputable, or like from like a university or whatever, it's not a reputable.
I absolutely think that news sources, social media these days, are all highly regulated by, if not the government, some other power, and they are only allowed to put out whatever they tell them to. And I'm sure that they pay them money or something, so they're totally okay with it. But I mean, they're never gonna tell you everything, and I think it's wrong. But yeah, it definitely not saying, oh, if you want reputable news, go watch CNN.
Yeah.
CNN has their own agendas. They're not really concerned whether you get reputable information. I mean, to an extent they do, because it'll hurt them if you think that they don't give reputable information. But in the end, they have their own agendas, and if they want to stay a news source, they have rules that they have to follow too.
it's just there's a bunch of heavy bias, but I think we talked about this in a previous podcast about fear mongering and the news really pushing stuff about coronavirus. We may not have, but
we talked a little bit about it.
So that was the other point. Is I remember talking with you about usually silence is worse than people trying to come out and fight, their own case in more serious matters, at least. So like if someone came out and like accused me of like rape, I'm not gonna just sit there and be like, oh, it's just, might as well not even like argue it. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut, because that's like a serious accusation. Like that's not just something that you can keep your mouth shut and expect to blow over. But like in this case, you haven't seen in any major news source anything about these accusations and the list or anything, which is weird. And all that these stations are pushing is stuff around coronavirus still, and I think that to an extent they're in on that, because it's just weird. If Ellen's coming under fire and accusation for this, you would think she'd give some sort of light or like statement, because it's a lot more than you think. It's not just some like little thing where like someone tweeted and was like, oh look, Ellen's name is on this list. Like it's heavily circulating a lot of places, and someone with like that place in Hollywood, you would expect to like speak on something like that. Another person that you wouldn't expect to be in there in that list that's involved, Oprah Winfrey. She hasn't said a word about it. Both of their shows are coming under fire for what? Like I said, they're saying that it's because for Ellen that it's mistreating people, but like
the excuse for Oprah is
no. I haven't heard as much about Oprah. That's newer for me as far as information, but social media in general, that was like, I think, was it Chrissy Teigen? I'm pretty sure, I'll have to double check real quick while I'm saying this, but I'm pretty sure Chrissy Teigen is on the list too, and she deleted like over like thousands of tweets and like stuff off of her Twitter.
Damn.
And everyone was like wondering what it was that she deleted and all this other stuff, and she's been like trying to attack QAnon, like the anonymous movement, like the mask and everything. She's been coming under like trying to come after them and being like, oh, it's just like a bunch of bullshit, and they're personally attacking me and stuff too. She actually indirectly addressed those accusations to an extent.
Why do you think that this whole kind of like silence movement is or has been the strategy amongst the people on the list that are coming under fire for the different things that are going on? Why not speak up and all of the, because that's a lot of substantially wealthy and very well-known people on that list. If they all banded together and used their influence, they could probably clear all of their names if they worked together. So why not speak up? Because silence is kind of like you're accepting that you're guilty,
I feel like, so that's what I was saying to an extent, but I feel like in this day and age, dude, it's just like the CIA. I believe it was in the late 70s, early 80s. The CIA was basically fucking completely unregulated. Like they didn't have any overhead, like someone watching over them and like regulating or anything. The CIA was operating just on its own whim. And there's theories that they're the reason that JFK got assassinated.
Yeah.
But
I've heard about that too.
You got to think about that though. That holds, like, that does hold, that's a fact. The thing about the CIA, like, being kind of like unregulated.
Shady.
But you got to think about everything else. People 25, 30 years ago weren't really like looking to Hollywood and wanting to like dig deep into things like that, because I don't know, just I feel like times were different back then. A lot of things were changing, and like things are still changing, but there wasn't as much attention into like details of stuff. But now we live in an age of technology and information, and there's like, it's becoming harder and harder to be anonymous. Like there's less anonymity. Yeah.
Whoa!
You knew a word, buddy.
Word, dude. word.
Shut the fuck up.
What does inanimate mean again?
Yeah, it's just harder to do that. But the other thing I was gonna say that I do know about Tom Hanks and his wife, so those accusations came out, and then the supposed like flight log and main news sources. Look, this is what I'm talking about, heavy bias. What's the first thing when I looked that up on my phone? Does that say?
That says fake Jeffrey Epstein flight logs target Tegan and Beyonce. Your phone's cracked. It was hard to read. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty shattered. Fake Jeffrey Epstein flight logs, and it says in the small description, in quotes, flight log of Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express private jet containing dozens of Hollywood A-listers has gone viral among the QAnon crowd. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why I don't use Safari to look shit up, is because that's the first thing that freaking comes up. But with Tom Hanks and his wife, guess what they did after all that stuff started rolling out? They applied for Greek citizenship.
Ooh.
They're in the process of becoming citizens of Greece.
Out of all the places you could go to.
And moving.
Yeah, aren't they in like a financial crisis still?
Who?
Greece.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Greece
economically
is not doing well.
Yeah, it was like in 2016 they were doing really rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. It doesn't set easy with me. And the other thing, I don't know, maybe I'll hold off on that to the end. It's not a new thing. It's just something that's finally being brought to light because Corey Feldman came out and talked about pedophilia within it. But that's the other thing, dude. There's so many things that factor into this. Remember Avicii? You know how he apparently like died? I don't remember what it was. Was it a medical complication?
I have no idea.
I feel like it said medical complication, and it may have been because of drugs, but when Avicii died, it was just like blown off as that. And like I remember all of us were like, oh, like Avicii died, and like we're in high school, and it was like, oh man, that sucks. I did not know this until 2020, like what, 3-4 years after he died, that he was working on a documentary called like Save the Children that had to do with the child sex trafficking, and he died in the midst of making it. And he's not the only one.
I feel really good about making this podcast right now. I gotta tell you guys, this is encouraging. Everything I hear while I'm making this podcast is very encouraging. Here's my theory. Think about it. What if it has nothing to do with children or pedophilism or sex trafficking, and those are covers placed for covering up something even bigger?
What could be much bigger than that? Dude, okay, sitting on the dock at the lake house just with Jenna last night, and I had this realization. Kids, dude, are the purest and most innocent thing on this entire planet. Like the only thing left that's like pure and innocent. Like think about that. They're so unexposed to like.
No, it's true. I coach soccer, and especially when they're like below the age of like penis jokes, that's when they're like the most whole. And then it just is all downhill from there. Penis jokes, and you say go get the balls when you're talking about the soccer balls, and they're like the balls. But yeah, at a certain age, kids are the best a person can be, I think, while they're on Earth.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why I don't know. I can't personally see it getting much worse than that because I don't know. I have a very strong opinion. I'm not gonna say it, but I have a very strong negative feeling towards people who think that's okay, like pedophilia, pedophilism. Yeah, that sounds decent.
Pedophiliosis.
Well, whatever it is, which it's definitely not that word. I just don't see anything being worse than that on this planet. And the other thing is, have you seen or heard? I know a few people who actually heard about this, and I'm shocked. There is evidence now that the scripture, and I'm Christian, but I think you have to be very naive to think that throughout thousands of years, no one has altered the scripture whatsoever.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
to fit any kind of agenda or whatever for the church or whatever.
Yeah.
There is evidence now that the Bible was changed in the aspect of when it references homosexuality and speaks so like downward on it.
Yeah.
That in most of those instances where that's mentioned within the Bible, it was changed from pedophiliism to homosexuality to fit the church's agenda because they didn't agree with that.
Yeah.
And so that starts to like piece together like an even like bigger like picture. It's like, okay, well that actually makes like a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is something that I think everybody can be, I mean, besides the people who do it, can be behind and like, yeah, that's shitty. Don't do that. Christian or not, I think everyone has to like, to an extent, believe that that's wrong.
And that was, dude, I saw something in the news about the LGBTQ community, who I've always supported, but certain people within it trying to have basically being a pedophile recognized as a type of sexuality and it be legalized, like pedophiliism. Yeah,
No way.
that's like I saw that and I was like, whoa, buddy boy, I'm about to break out my Kill Pedophiles t-shirt.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Dude, if that becomes a thing within my lifetime,
No, I'm freaking leaving this country if that ever happens.
leaving Earth. I don't want to be alive anymore. I don't want to live in a world full of people who think that's okay.
Just take off.
Yeah. We're gonna get somebody in the comments who's gonna be like, dude, being a pedophile is a way of life.
It's like, it's just, they call it ageism, I think.
Like usually I don't use this term, but like if you think that way, you can kill yourself because the world would be a better place without you. I mean, it's one thing if you have like a condition where like you feel like you want that, but if you actually give into that desire and do that stuff, the world is a better place without you.
I'm looking back at my sources, and Avicii actually supposedly killed himself, ironically.
Oh, interesting. Well, okay, wait. So how did Epstein kill himself? Did he hung himself, right?
Yeah, they said he hung himself within his cell, but there's been like blueprints mapped up out of the cell that he was in, and it would be you could do it, don't get me wrong, but it's not like it would have just been like very easy for him to do that.
Yeah.
He would have had to been at a low point of gravity, which would have been a lot harder for him to like completely cut off the oxygen and like, I don't know.
How did Avicii die? If you say hung himself, I'm leaving.
It says, I think I remember, I believe that they had said that he overdosed. Ooh, here's in Snopes. And see, Snopes is even biased too, dude. Snopes is a fact-checking website where you can go to articles and stuff and like be like, hey, is this factual? But it's even hard biased, dude. Because I guarantee you, I haven't looked at it yet, I guarantee you this is gonna say that Avicii working on the documentary about child sex trafficking is gonna have absolutely no correlation. I can put money on it. It says, did Avicii try to expose a pedophile ring before he died? Yet another specious report from a fake news site that seems to have a fascination with pedophilia. Boom.
Yep.
Completely trying to discredit it right off the bat. It says false. Swedish-born producer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. I don't even know how you could do that. Sit there and try to say that that's not factual, because if someone wants it in the comment section, I can find it. I could find it and send it to you. I guarantee you there is paperwork or some kind of proof of his involvement in that documentary. And Chester Benningfield of Linkin Park, who killed himself, he was also involved in a documentary trying to expose child sex trafficking rings, and he killed himself, quote unquote.
Whoever is doing this is really good at covering stuff up.
Because nobody questions that whatsoever. I mean, there's a few people that have their suspicions because people are coming out with all these theories and stuff, but like,
what about Elvis?
Elvis was taking a shit and he died. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but no one's gonna question someone dying on a toilet. That's the perfect time to kill somebody.
That's true. He probably was sitting there reading the paper
About child pedophilism. I don't know what I just said
And then
about child molesters there.
And they probably just got one right in the head. Like, who knows? Only the people who were there know. And then those people are probably either dead or have been threatened to the extent where they would never speak about it. If we live in a world where I don't know, people just, they're like, I don't understand. There's so many witnesses, like the paramedics on the scene, say with Avicii's death. They're like, if it wasn't a suicide like that and they didn't completely stage it up to match up with the story, then someone would have spoke out about it. No, they wouldn't. We're human, dude. Do you know how vulnerable we are in so many different aspects? If those paramedics had families, all it would take is threatening the life of like some guy's children or wife or parents, them visibly like showing them that they have the power, obviously, because they would have killed a 20-something-year-old DJ star.
Yeah.
Then, like, I don't know. I wouldn't say anything if it was me with my girlfriend / at the like in the future. Like, if I had like my wife and kids, I'd be like, okay, bro, like lips sealed. It's very suspicious. So for the sake of not coming under complete direct fire, these are, I will say, theories and everything. But so I don't want to be one of those people that contributes to any like misinformation, but I also want people to look into things. So if that sparks anything for you, go look it up. Download a Tor network. Like there's so many free apps. Download a Tor browser and just go look stuff up. There's WikiLeaks too. If you dig far enough in WikiLeaks,
yeah, do your own research and then let us know in the comments or on Discord or wherever what you guys find and what you believe, and then we can like use that in the next videos we do. I mean, I find this stuff very interesting, and I know Alex does, clearly, because he knows a lot of shit about it. I didn't know as much about this particular stuff. That's why I've been a little bit more quiet. Alex is probably talking 90% of this video, but he knows a lot about this. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure you let us know. Let us know what you guys want to hear about next time. I'm thinking we might want to look into like the government hiding technologies from us and stuff. Might be kind of cool. Yeah. Other things that we can get into sometime in the future is paranormal activity. I want to get into that stuff around Halloween time. I think that'd be fun, and then we can tell you guys some of our personal ghost stories on one of the Conspiracy Theory Thursdays. We have lots. We've been a lot of places and seen a lot of things. We on Halloween we visit abandoned buildings, so lots of things to unbox there.
Leicester Hospital.
Yes, haunted hospital that was also a clinic during the Civil War.
Yeah, and apparently afterwards it was wasn't it a mental?
Yep, an insane asylum.
Yeah.
And they found equipment from that. Okay, well we'll talk about that. We're telling you guys too much right now, but we've visited a lot of places, seen a lot of things.
I've been possessed.
If you work for the people who, yeah, Alex has been possessed. Maybe you might actually have been. I'm not so sure that you're not still possessed. Don't look at me like that. I hated that. He rolled his eyes into the back of his head. The only person that should ever see you roll your eyes into the back of your head is Jenna.
Don't. God damn it.
If you're working for the people who are the big baddies that control all of this stuff, it's not cool, but don't come after us, because we're gonna get like 30 views on this video. Like,
no, fuck you, dude. I'm gonna get a M4 and I'm gonna freaking sit here. You try to roll up, you trying to make me look like I kill myself. I'm gonna shoot your kneecaps out with my Kill Pedophiles t-shirt on, bro. Ooh.
All right, so you can kill Alex. I'm not associated with what was just said. I mean, it's wrong, but you clearly know more than I know, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Nobody needs to know.
Oh God. Okay. Well, with that, we're gonna end this episode. We'll see you guys next time.
See you later, my conspiracy lovers.